So we all say affirmations. You're familiar with affirmations. Stuff like, I'm beautiful. I am prosperous. I easily drop another 30 pounds. I have wonderful, loving relationships. I know that all my enemies die painful, tedious deaths.
Wow. You went there.
That last one actually is not a good affirmation. And if you've been in our classes, you'll know that that does not fit into the 4 Ps, which we'll get into in detail in just a little bit. But rather than me just standing here talking about this stuff, I actually have a demonstration that will let us kind of connect with it on an experiential level. So I need a volunteer, somebody who'd be willing to play along for the next few minutes. Dave, come on up.
Okay. All right, you're the next participant. You're a sucker.
Stand right here.
Facing you?
No. Back here. Put back a little bit. I need some space, dude. Put that in your right hand. That's our stick. Okay? Just hold the stick out at arm's length, like you're pointing it, like it's your scepter of. There you go. Comfortable? You good with that? Okay. Now what I want you to do is imagine that that strength and power from you is going out through the stick into whatever it is that you want to be creating, all right? At whatever point that gets a little uncomfortable for you, just say so, all right? And we'll change stuff. But in the meantime, just go with it, all right? What I'm going to do for everybody else is I'm going to explain the 4 Ps. If you remember what they are, we go over them in the Beyond Limits class, and whenever we do affirmations, the 4 Ps are personal, powerful, present tense. What's the other one? Positive, which is why the one about your enemies dying painful, slow deaths is not a good one, because that's not positive. But the point is, the reason that we want them to be positive is not because they won't work. They will all work. The problem is, in order for the affirmations to work, we have to be claiming our truth. And when we're claiming our truth by saying something negative, the first person that affects is us. So, yes, it is true that somebody will be in pain. However, it might be your enemy, and we'll get into that some other time, but it's going to include you as well. So that's why we go for the 4 Ps of positive, powerful, personal, and present tense. And if you'd like any more details on that, that's exactly what the practical prayer class is about, and Beyond Limits beyond that, to continue to deepen into this. Because it's the sort of thing that we like to know in our heads, but we really want to embody and connect with in our hearts. You doing okay? You're fine?
Okay. You can keep going.
Cool. The strength of many, because he has the power of the one. Affirmations are powerful, and the point is in the affirmation is who's saying them. When we're saying an affirmation like I just began to say, I'm beautiful, I'm prosperous, those are wonderful, those are very powerful statements, and they all have that ring of truth, the possibility of truth in them. But there is the possibility that we're saying those from our small ego self, from the part of us that lives in condition, where we're looking at an experience where, so maybe I'm not feeling prosperous. Maybe I'm like watching the bank account and I'm concerned about money, so I say, I'm prosperous. And to the extent that I can feel like I am prosperous, that affirmation is going to work. The important thing to remember, though, is that when we speak our affirmation, we can speak them from the level of effect, or we can speak them from the level of cause. Still doing okay? You're right? You're not distracted at all, are you? Okay, you're doing it great.
It's getting a little uncomfortable.
As soon as you want to change something, you just say the word.
Okay, I'll change something.
Just let me know. Just let me know, and we can make it.
As long as the request is reasonable.
We can make it. As soon as you want to make a change, just say the word.
The word.
Okay. So what I'd like you to do now, same stick. I'd like you to just hold it up in front of you, just like this. Same. Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah. Is that a little easier?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Same stick, right?
Yes.
And you're the same person.
Correct.
It's in the same room.
Yes.
Okay. Now hold it so that the stick is down below your hands. Is that even easier than it was before?
Mm-hmm.
Same stick, same room, same person. Now, just to humor him for a second, put the bottom of the stick on the floor. and just make sure that it doesn't tip over. Is that a little easier than it was before?
Mhm.
Same stick, same person, same room. And how often do we get ourselves to the position where we think that we have to brute force it? Where in order for it to happen, I have to hold it at arm's length. In order for it to be strong, I have to be strong. I have to maintain that strength all the time. Do you suppose you could do this a little bit longer than you could do it the other way?
Mhm.
Do you suppose maybe you could pay attention to some other things other than, ouch, my arm hurts?
Like your talk?
Yeah. Yeah. During this?
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I'll take my stick back, and
Okay.
you can take your seat back. Thank you very much. Let's have a hand for Dave. Don't need to do that. So I'll tell you a story. My wife Dina wants to go to California to visit her dad, who's 93, and she wants to do this on a regular basis. And she's gotten that urge that like she wants to go, and she wants to bring our daughter, who's never been to LA, and so she's been going through just this struggle. Because the airfares are expensive, and she doesn't know what's going to happen with our dog, and she doesn't know what's going to happen with the childbirth patients and students that she's dealing with, and all the rest of the stuff. And she's just completely lost in the world of effect. And she'd been talking about this for maybe 3 weeks. And I, of course, have some opinions about it. But one of the things that I learned very, very clearly as I got into this this community and this practice of healing prayer and spiritual counseling is it is malpractice for me to be a practitioner, first of all, for anybody in my family, and especially for somebody who hasn't invited me in. So I can watch her from a distance and see all of this stuff going on, and I can love her, and I can support her, and I can listen to her, but I'm not going to be able to ask her any of those spiritual truth questions that I would normally ask somebody. So she went around through what I would term the world of effect. And that's where we're seeing a problem in front of us, or a situation or an opportunity or whatever it happens to be, and thinking that we need to solve that problem, address that opportunity, or be present with that situation at the level of the effect. We want the stick to be in the room, and somebody said that we have to hold it out like this, and I'm going to hold that stick in place because I can, because I have the strength to do that. Rather than saying, what is it that I'm really looking to do? I'm looking to be comfortable, I'm looking to be in balance, I'm looking to be at peace with the situation, with me and the stick in the room, and at which point it can sit firmly anchored on the ground, firmly anchored in spirit, and let spirit do all the work. Let something bigger take care of all of that. In the world of effect, we are perfectly free to set that affirmation, and we never say this out loud. I'm going to struggle painfully until I get what I want. Has anybody ever said that out loud? You haven't said it out loud, but you've done it. Yes. You've been there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We can do that. We are always free to do that. And we don't have to do that. There's a great expression that I've taken to using, which is, God knows what we're doing here. God knows what we're doing here. And if you say that with exasperation, then you're saying that with attachment to the situation and being dismissive and being less than. God knows what we're doing here. And I was like, I'm lost, and I don't know what's going on, and I'm the victim, and I'm in my small self, and I'm struggling because I'm holding the thing out at arm's length. But we don't have to do that. So Dina this week went and saw one of her healers, and this is an energy healer, and she does a lot of spiritual work, and she's really great stuff. She's a psychic and an intuitive, and she's got a list of all sorts of stuff that she does, and she's a big believer in angels. And angels, when I first met this woman, didn't really fit into my model of how the universe works. It's not that whole story of oneness that I like to keep talking about. But it works for Kathy, and it works for Dina. And Dina came back from this session, and she said that she'd brought this up, this whole, should I go to Los Angeles, what's the deal, what's going on, and all the angst that she'd been dealing with. And her advice was to turn it over to the angels. Allow the angels to guide her in this situation and give her a sign or an indication about what's going to happen. And in my model of things, the angel is the channel. It's the pipe that is coming through. When we turn ourselves over to the infinite, sometimes I can't imagine myself connected to the universe, but if I imagine angels, then I'll let the angels be the middleman. They can be the ones that are connecting me and providing the guidance and have a personal relationship with me. And from that perspective, that's perfectly okay with me. And what she did was she got to that breakthrough where instead of dealing with this on the level of effect, she was going to take it to cause. And it wasn't, I want to get to California, it was, I want to know if I'm supposed to go to California at this particular time, in this particular manner, or whatever it happens to be. So there was a huge breakthrough that happened when she turned that over. And she felt very much at peace when she did that. And we can do the same thing with our affirmations. When I say an affirmation for my small self, I'm prosperous. It's possible for me to be prosperous. It's possible that I'm prosperous right now. But if I'm not feeling prosperous, if I'm not feeling connected to it, what I want to do is get myself from that small self, ego level, victim consciousness, world of effect, up to that cause, that infinite cause. I want to have the A-team on my side. I want to call the infinite in. So that's what the first two steps of a prayer are about in a practical prayer. The first thing that we do is, instead of talking about our problem, we talk about infinite. We talk about God. We talk about nature. We talk about spirit. We talk about the source, the creator that created everything. Is it possible that God doesn't have enough to provide me with the mortgage money? Is it possible that God could be limited in that way? No, that's not possible for God. So I'm turning it over to that infinite abundance, that infinite prosperity. I'm turning my attention to that. I'm looking to the big picture. And in the second step, what we're going to do is we're going to identify that since there's only God, and God is this attribute or aspect that we're talking about, me too. Whatever it is that exists anywhere can exist for me. If I see it in anybody, it's got to be available to me as well. And once I do that, when I speak my affirmation, I'm not speaking it from the level of effect. I'm speaking that from the level of cause. I have connected myself. I haven't connected myself. I have made myself aware of my connection, that I can speak with that authority of the infinite. That I can say I am prosperous, not me down here hoping that it's going to happen, but me, powerful presence, knowing that that's the truth of what it is. Albert Einstein said that we can't solve our problems at the same level of energy that we created them. And that's exactly what he's talking about. When we take the issue, the challenge, the problem, the difficulty, and we take it to that higher level, suddenly we're able to create a change in the world of experience that's just amazing, amazing to see. God knows what we're doing here. Because when we say it with peace and confidence, that's an expression of faith. You can say it both ways. God knows what we're doing here, or God knows what we're doing here. And that simple perspective of how it is that I'm going to approach that statement brings me into a different level of energy and a different level of consciousness where I can create an experience that I want. So the day after Dina went to the psychic lady, she's looking at airfares because she's trying to figure out how it's going to cost $150 or $300 to get out there and another $150 or $300 to get back, and where's she going to stay and what's she going to do and all the rest of the She's on a website. She finds that if she can get herself to Las Vegas, then she can take a Virgin America flight from Las Vegas to LA for $37. And she can get back to Las Vegas for $37. And then it turns out that US Air can get her from Philadelphia to Las Vegas for $37. And back from Las Vegas for $37. Well, God speaks in mysterious ways. And in fact, well, she called US Air. She's talking to the customer service rep, and she says, I'm looking at the website, it says $37. And the customer service rep says, that's probably a mistake, but we're going to honor it. So they're both going. They're both going to California. And as soon as she decided to do that, she got in touch with her sister who lives out there, who's got her daughter and husband moved back into the house, so there hadn't been room for them. And her sister said, well, of course you can stay with us. And she said, I thought there wasn't room. She says, it'll be fine. So within a matter of hours, There's the $37 airfare and the free place to stay, and now they're talking about what kind of vacation-y things they're going to do while they're out there anyway, visiting family. She's holding the stick out at arm's length. She's trying to brute force it, and it wasn't working. And as soon as she turned it over to the infinite, as soon as she put it down and stopped struggling with it, she was able to get the clarity on what's supposed to happen. The other thing that would be possible is that all the fares would be sold out and she wouldn't be able to go at all. And every roadblock in the world would come up saying, nope, this is not the time to do it. It wasn't that she gets to go to Los Angeles. The point is, she has the clarity and the peace of mind and the openness that she can do what's going to work for her. So when we speak, let us all remember to speak with that authority. Not by yelling louder and trying to convince the world that we know what we're doing, but by peacefully relaxing into the knowledge that God knows what we're doing. It is the infinite doing this for me. It's the infinite doing this through me. It's the infinite doing this as me. And I am free whenever I want to struggle and have anguish and have pain, and it's not required. If I'm doing that, it's because that's what I'm choosing to be doing at the moment. And if I find myself doing that and not liking it, there's an invitation to do what? Put it down and let the infinite take over. Because the floor of the building can hold that stick up for an awfully long time. It's not going to complain. It's not going to need a whole lot of attention. It's just going to do what it does. And you're free to do the same thing, right now and always. Because together with God, you are always able to claim your good. So do that, because you deserve it, because you're wonderful. And so it is. Thank you.